Hey, Mama.
Hey, baby.
How you doing today?
Doing fine. How about you?
Good, good, good. So we're back again. I'm just getting off from work, and Mama's been busy today. So today is Tuesday, February 4th, okay? And so we told you we'd be back, and we're back. And we had a lot of good topics to talk about. So we wanted to piggyback off of what we talked about last night. And the topic tonight we're going to talk about is the Great Depression and what it was like for Mama to live through the Great Depression. Mama, for those who are tuning in, how old are you?
102 years old.
Right. You'll be 103
when? Last day of March.
Which is next month.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So you're 102. You're going to be 103. And you were born in 1922.
Right.
Okay. So when I looked up the Great Depression, it said it started in 1929 and went to about 1941. So that means that you were about 7 years old when it started, and you were around 19 when it ended.
Right.
And you got married to Daddy when you were 17. So in the middle of the Great Depression. All right. So during that time, being, say, 7 years old, you were at home with your parents.
Right.
And last night we talked about how Grandma Polly used to make dresses for you and your sisters out of like flour sacks or different sacks that came in.
Right.
Right. And also pants for the boys so y'all could go to school.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, and we already talked about that your daddy was a farmer and y'all learned to farm. Right?
Right.
Okay. And what kind of animals did y'all have?
Well, we had a milk cow.
Mm-hmm.
We had hogs.
Okay.
And I guess
chickens.
Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken.
Okay. So you had let's just sort of we're gonna take those one at a time. All right. Let's start with the cow. You had a milk cow.
Milk cow.
Okay. And so who would milk the cow?
Well, Mama milked it till I got big enough to milk it.
Okay. And then when would y'all normally milk the cow? Because I remember when we talked about this last year, you talked about if you waited too long, there would be gnats all around the cow. So you milked it in the morning.
And you milk it in the evening, but you had to milk it kind of early for the sun going too low.
Okay, so the gnats and stuff wouldn't be so bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, from that milk, what all did you guys make from the milk? Let's talk about that.
Well, we made butter. That's some good old butter. And when we make the butter, we had to put it in a churn and let it clabber. And when it clabber, then we churned the churn and take our churn. We had a churn and churned it. And the butter started to come, after the churn so long, the butter started to come in there. And when it gets so high, then we stop chewing it and then take it and skim that butter, off of that milk. And when we was skimming that butter off the milk, we put them in a big old bowl. And then we'll run cold water on it. And then you got to take it and chewing that, mash that, just keep on mashing that butter. They can't tell you get that water out of there, because it's have water in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to mash it and get that water out of it. When you get that water out, then you take a spoon and stir it or fork and stir it and mash it, and it's turned out to be pretty bold.
Mm-hmm. All right, so from your milk cow, you got milk and you got butter.
Yeah.
So I know that, say, everything was used.
Uh-huh.
And one thing we're going to talk about, too, because I'm about to talk about the hogs, because from both, say, if you were to have, I know you guys just had a milk cow, right. So you wouldn't have slaughtered your cow. So, but with your hog, okay, from that, you got, everything that we know today, bacon, pork chops, all the above you would have gotten. Mm-hmm. But one thing too is that where did you get your cooking oil from?
Well, I'll tell you what, cooking oil come from, I don't know.
Your hog.
Yeah, come from the hog. When you cut your crackers up, we put that meat in a pot, and we make a fire out there. And the fire of a boy, and after a while, when the crackers started, meat started growing, did the Lord go to come out of that fat?
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep on, and you will just and when it go to come out the fat, you got to kind of move it back, or you don't want it to burn.
Right. And so I know, like from the cows, I think they call it tallow or something like that, where you can take the oil and separate the impurities from it. And from that, I know, that they made soaps from it. Yeah. Like I say, you cook with it. Mm-hmm. And people, even today, you'll hear about homesteaders that are still doing that today. So basically, every part of the animal was used, right?
Yeah, and then you take the and stew that meat out from the cow, and you make tallow with it. Mm-hmm. And the tallow is like a good salve or something. You take it, you rub with it, and everything, and it would do a whole lot of good. We just rub the tallow, and when we have a cold, Mama take it, rub that tallow all around your neck and thing, and put a cloth around there, and it'll sweat, and if you have fever, anything like that, it'll take it out there.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Mama, because that's real big right now. People, they're hearing about it for the first time, but it's not new. It's how you survive, because you couldn't get to the doctor. There wasn't, say, a Walgreens, a CVS, or a Walmart, a pharmacy. So the ingredients, the stuff that you need to heal and get well, was on the farm. Whether it was like taking the tallow, and then also going out and collecting like the green herbs, that was passed down, what was used for headaches, what was used for fevers, and all of that, that was passed down from, say, Grandma Polly. She got it from her mother, who got it, from generations back.
Right.
Because I remember one time when I had a headache, and I remember you going out and getting these wide green leaves, and you put them on my head. And I don't remember the salve, but I just remember sweating it out, that the bed was just soaking wet. And then within like a day or so, it was gone, So.
And then too, we would take the peach tree leaves, mm-hmm. and put them over your head and tie a string around that. And that draws that out too.
Mm-hmm. There were so many home remedies that were, passed down, that made teas, and then even today, what I love is that Mama and I, we still do a lot of the things that she learned from her mother. Like with it being February, you guys need to go back and look at all of our videos from last year, because we demonstrated this. This year we're having conversations about it. But in one of the videos, we went out, we always go out this time of year and we get wild onions. Right. Wild onions grow this time of year, and they grow out in the wild. And so we dig those wild onions up. We leave some so they come back. But they lived off the land during the Great Depression. Okay. And then one thing, and I want to get this in, because I told them, I said, there's one thing that you would be surprised about. I remember that I had to do like a school paper. And when I first asked Mama about the Great Depression, she didn't know what I was talking about. It sort of went over her head. And I was like, wait a minute, and so, because I remember reading about the soup kitchens and all of that. Well, what I came to realize is, because they grew up on a farm, they raised everything, they were isolated because they lived out in the country. And they grew everything they needed. And so the only thing that made her remember was when I said they didn't ration anything like sugar, and she said, oh yeah, I do remember them, that you had to have, what was it, a ticket, something to go, and you could only buy so much sugar, mm-hmm. So that's something that I found amazing, is that because everybody in the neighborhood was like that, self-sufficient, growing your foods, your medicines, your all your things, they were sort of isolated. So that's why I think that there's this big move today, you know, with people wanting to learn how can we learn those skills in case we can't get to our pharmacy, you know, or in case, you know, our insurance or whatever the reason, you're short on whatever. How did they survive? They survived, guys, because we're here. And so today, like I said, we wanted to talk about the Great Depression. So that's more about Mama, right?
Right.
And so tomorrow we're going to talk about when she met Daddy. Okay, when she met Daddy, my handsome daddy, because like we said, the Great Depression started when she was about 7. It ended when she was around 19, but she got married at 17. And so, guys, there's a remarkable story that she's going to tell about how she cooked her cornbread. You got to hear this story. All right, so guys, we thank you for tuning in today, and we're going to ask that you please like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And we will see you guys tomorrow. We love you.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.